What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our team builder for Week 7 here in Fella. This week we are taking on East and the Alabama Alakazams. His team is almost the polar opposite of ours because it contains the mighty Mega Charizard X to our Mega Charizard Y. He also has a dangerous backup roster of Slowbro, Amoonguss, Crocodile, Raikou, Hitmontop, Durant, Mismagius, Diagonal, Exploud, Floet Eternal, and Masquerain. So there's potential for sticky webs with Masquerain, which is kind of annoying. He's got a decent spinner in Diagonal and Hitmontop. He's also got it doesn't have defog potential, which is cool. So if he can spin and block, that'd be great. If we had a ghost type with us this week, we don't. Floet Eternal is nasty because that Light of Ruin is really hard to switch into. Not many things do it. I have 2 Mons that can, but they don't appreciate it. Megazard X is really scary because if it sets up, we're fucked. Slowbro, Amoonguss, Dual Regenerator Core is absolutely disgusting. And then Crocodile is just absolute monstrosity incarnate. This thing is terrifying and really hard to handle. Moxie sweeps are a thing. Raikou's super fast, hard to beat. Durant is super fast, hard to beat. It's got a decently fast squad of offensive Mons, while having the better defensive Mons to handle other threats. But I think this team is going to actually put in a lot of work, and the first Mon I'm bringing is Preference to Gothitelle, and Lord Almighty, do your eyes deceive you? You're staring at a Gothitelle that's not holding a Choice Scarf. What's going on? We're rocking leftovers in this Gothitelle. 208 HP, 252 defense, bold nature, 4 in special defense, and 44 into speed. The 44 into speed allows us to outspeed the Hitmontop, which is something that I would be looking to trap because I want to set up. My goal this week is to set up Calm Minds on this man and win, essentially. Psyshock, Energy Ball, Calm Mind, and Rest. Psyshock is there to hit the Hitmontop. It's going to hit the Amoonguss super effectively, and it's Stab. It is Stab. Like it's Stab, so that's cool. So we're gonna use that. And then we have Energy Ball, because the things that don't get hurt or affected extremely by the Psyshock are. But yeah, this is a really interesting situation with this Mon, because with Psyshock and Energy Ball we can essentially sweep if we do it right, if we set up enough. If we can trap the Hitmontop, we can essentially set up to +6. We can set up to +6 super duper easy, and that's it. We can also essentially trap the Amoonguss too. That's also an option, because I'm not worried about being scored, because of the simple fact that we do have rest on this set. So I mean, we're gonna go to sleep eventually anyway. It's just a matter of how many sleep turns we get against it. But trapping that thing would be really nice as well. Trapping the Slowbro as well could be another setup fodder Mon. So a lot of different Mons we could set up against. And at least this time we don't have to be scarfed to do it. We won't be scarfed, so we won't be locked into a move. So we can act accordingly based upon whatever situations we end up in. But this thing has the potential to completely annihilate East's team if I can get it done, which I'm really hoping I can. I really want to set up Gothitelle to work here, so we're going to try it. Next up, we have Ragnarok, the Tyranitar holding the leftovers, fully physically defensive again. Impish Nature. The reason I go fully physically defensive is a lot of the bigger threats like Megazard X Megazord X is a huge threat. Crook's a threat. Crook's definitely a threat. The Durant is a threat. Hitmontop is a threat. There's just a decent amount of physical threats that I need to just maybe be able to take at least one hit from, so that I can live and move on with my life. We have the Stone Edge. Stone Edge is there because I need something that hits the Zard super effective. And that is it. I need to hit it as hard as possible, as fast as possible, and stab and everything. So we're going to try it. Hopefully it works. Stone Edge should do a large amount to the Zardex. If it's not bulky Zardex with Will-O-Wisp, we should be fine. We have the Stealth Rock. Try to set up the rocks before the Zard comes in, which would be really nice. We have to make sure to keep the Hitmontop from spinning. Or if that could actually be, this could also serve as our bait to get the Hitmontop in to spin. As we get the Hitmontop in to spin, then on the spin turn we can swap in our beautiful, lovely preference here, and then trap it and tear through the team from there. Now we have Protect. Now Protect is interesting. Why do I have Protect? Well, I honestly don't remember. I believe it had something to do with, like, living a hit, or gaining enough HP to live a hit. I think the goal with Protect is to keep my Leftovers recovery up, or to play some mind games with the Zard and stuff like that. Play mind games and, you know, maybe cook to going for a Dragon Dance on a turn it shouldn't, and then I would be going for a Stone Edge on that turn and hit it really, really freaking hard. Something like that, maybe. I don't remember exactly why I had the Protect. The Protect is actually kind of for scouting. You know, hey, we're going to scout and see if the Raikou has Aura Sphere. We can scout and see if the Amoonguss has Spore. We can scout and see, you know, move sets on Pokemon. See if they're carrying specific hidden power. If something's packing hidden power fighting, and scout for that with Protect. Then we have Earthquake, just as a secondary option for hitting things hard. So we can hit the Raikou. Raikou, if it doesn't have Aura Sphere, it can't hit us all that hard outside of hidden power. So it could be a really, really useful move to have on the set. So hopefully it works. But let's see what happens with that. Hopefully that'll work out. Ragnarok is a really, really good mod for this week, so hopefully it puts in some work. Next up we have Shazam, our Heliolisk with the Choice Scarf, Solar Power, ladies and gentlemen, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HP Fire, and Hyper Voice. HP Fire is for the Durant. We speed tie with we would normally speed tie with Durant, but we are actually slower due to the Hidden Power Fire IVs. Is there any way in hell that we cannot have minimum speeds? No. Fuck. It's annoying. But that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Because actually, since we have enough value, we can edit our spread a little bit here to maximize effort. Okay, so since we can't speed tie with it, we will hope that it's not scarfed and try to outspeed it that way. We are going to drop our speed down to 341, because at 341 we will outspeed the likes of Miss Magias and Cryogonal. So, yeah, that's cool. And we're going to do that. So, yeah, it's done. Anyway, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HP Fire, and Hyper Voice. Obviously, the HP Fire is for that Durant. It'll hit a couple things super effectively, but the Durant's going to take the most damage from it. Volt Switch and Thunderbolt and Hyper Voice are all for just stab. So you have something stab to click on. Volt Switch is really good. If the Crook is gone, we can just Volt Switch around a lot of East's team and do a lot of damage. Or we can spam Thunderbolt on things that don't want to take Thunderbolts. And Hyper Voice is great because before the Crook is dead, because if the Crook wants to switch into us, that's great. You can switch in right away, Mr. Crook. That's perfectly fine. You're not going to take this nicely. Because, honestly, pre-Mega Evolution, only things that switch in to Heliolisk are Amoonguss and Crook. And Amoonguss doesn't want to take a Hyper Voice too much. It's not a huge fan of taking Hyper Voices. So, I don't think it wants to. I don't think it will enjoy it. And I think it's going to try to avoid doing so. So, that's our Heliolisk. Sorry about that, it's pretty late, but I have a league battle scheduled at 3 a.m., so I gotta power through, guys, so stick with me. Next up, we got Igneal, our Megazord Y. Here running max speed, Intimidator. It's a speed tie with the Zard X. It runs Jolly max speed. No speed tie with it. We're running Fire Blast, Solar Beam, Dragon Pulse, and Roost. Dragon Pulse is solely for the Zard X. Fire Blast, Solar Beam pretty much breaks the Regenerator core. I can click Fire Blast. What comes in against the Fire Blast? Nothing except for the Slowbro. Slowbro comes in against the Fire Blast, gets Solar Beamed, essentially. Or the Zard tries to come in against the Fire Blast, gets Dragon Pulse, essentially. Like, the moveset pretty much, it handles the switch-ins to Zard beautifully by just nuking whatever tries to switch in. And if he wants to try to switch around it and play mind games, go for it. But it's not going to really work because Zard Y just kind of continues to maul your team while you try to pull these mind games, so it's not recommended. Just saying. But it has a lot of potential to do a lot of work in this matchup. Roost is going to allow us to stay around for a while. If we start getting chipped down by some things, we can Roost and keep that damage off of us, which would be nice. So, yeah. Next up, we have Gaia. Gaia, the S-Cavalier, rocking the AV boys. AV, Shell Armor, no crit in him. Mega Horn is going to end the life of the Slowbro. Mega Horn's really good because it's stab, and even though it's neutral to things like the Amoonguss, it still hurts a lot. Like, it's going to do a large chunk of damage to the Amoonguss, even though it is neutral. Knockoff is there, because Knockoff hits hard on just about anything. The only knockoff resistant the opponent's team are the Floette and the Crocodile, which both need their items, so that's, you can't really switch into that knockoff. Iron Head is for the Floette, and then Drill Run is for the Zard and the Raikou. Specifically Raikou more so because we can actually hit that thing pretty hard. It's typical max HP, max attack out of it with a tiny chunk into, tiny little bit into Spadef so that we can do the work with that. Last one we're bringing is going to be Shuriken, our Starmie, rocking the Life Orb Natural Cure. We're holding that, we got that Scald, we got that powerful Scald, just for stab purposes and crocodile killing. We're going to go crocodile killing, and that's what we're going to do. We got Psyshock for stab purposes and Amoonguss killing, and also Hit One Top killing. We have Hidden Power Fire for Durant killing, and we have Thunderbolt for Masquerain killing, and also to help with the killing of Slowbro. So Starmie just kind of comes in, punches things, and leaves, essentially. It's going to hit pretty hard for this matchup, so hopefully it'll work. But really the goal is to set up Calm Mind, Gothic Hell, and win the game. That's the goal here. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure you I shouldn't have clicked that yet. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, we are going to get into the matchup. Let's go. What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 7 battle here in Fella. This week we are taking on East and the Alabama Alakazams. You can see from our team builder we brought Gothitelle, Tyranitar, Heliolisk, Mega Charizard Y, S-Cavalier, and Starmie, well, he decided to bring his Slowbro, Durant, Hitmontop, Mega Charizard X, Raikou, and the X-Cloud. So without further ado, let us get into this match. We're going to switch sides, so we're on our side. He's going to lead with his Durant as I led with my Shazam. I do have the HP Fire. I'm pretty sure I debated clicking it turn 1, and I did. I did go ahead and click it as he switches into the Hitmontop. Really good play on his part. He doesn't want that Durant taking too much damage. I actually go right ahead and trap this Hitmontop with my Gothitelle. I know I can set up in its face. I know it's a little early to start setting up. I do know it's way too early to get setting up. But I decided to do it anyway because I know I can easily set up. And if he brings something in that threatens me, like the Durant, afterwards it's fine. But I want to make sure that I can kill this Hitmontop and potentially be able to sweep through his team. Although I didn't really have the proper set to do so. Durant pretty much walled me, which is really, really poor playing on my part. But I did need the Calm Mind, of course, in order to set up. I need the Psyshock for stab coverage, and I need the Energy Ball because if I didn't have Energy Ball, then Slowbro would have walled me. So essentially every move on this moveset was essential. Rest was especially essential because without it I would just get whittled down really quickly by a physical mon. So I'm going to get to +6, and I'm going to just rest here. I debated Rest Talk. Rest Talk was an option in my head, but then that would leave me with less coverage, so I just decided that it was a better idea to just go ahead and let the sleep turns go by. Because he's not doing too much damage to us. We are physically defensive, so he's not really hurting us. We are going to wake up here, and we are just going to go for the Psyshock, and it's going to obliterate the Hitmontop. So Setup Gothitelle was able to do something for us this week. We decided to run Setup Goth instead of something else, but he's going to go immediately into the Durant, knowing that it threatens this thing out. I'm going to switch into Gaia, knowing Gaia can eat any hit from this thing. We swallow that X-Scissor. See that it's Life Orb, so that's interesting. We are actually going to go ahead and knock off this incoming Mon. Now, this is a really tough play, because if he just goes ahead and Flare Blitzes, he kills us, right? However, I predicted that. I predicted that that would be too obvious. That, Fire type. I am a Steel Bug type. I'm 4 times weak to it. I gotta switch. What do you do if you have a setup Mon that forces a switch? You set up. So I predicted him to go for the Mega Evolve and go for the Dragon Dance, so I actually go ahead and click the Drill Run. He does go for the Dragon Dance, Escavalier goes for the Drill Run and wipes out the Mega Charizard X, which is huge, huge for the match. If I had swapped there, that might have been game over. The Slowbro is going to come in, it's going to go for a Scald. I'm actually going to go for a knockoff and get rid of its leftovers. It's just going to keep scalding me, which is not that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and Mega Horn here. It actually annihilates the Slowbro. It does so much damage. Escavalier is too much of a threat. So in comes the X-Cloud. It's actually going to go ahead and Boom Burst me. I'm going to go ahead and knock off. Now, right here I debated switching into Tyranitar. So no T-Tar, especially after the specs are gone. I can swallow any move this thing wants to go for. Even potentially a Focus Blast, which I don't think it would be packing Focus Blast. I don't think it is packing Focus Blast. I might have to PM him and see if it was. But, I know I can take it. I know I can take just about anything for T-Tar, but at the same time, I don't want T-Tar taking unnecessary damage, because T-Tar could be very useful late game against the Raikou if it doesn't have Aura Sphere or something like that. It could be potentially useful late game if I need it. So I decided to save it for now, and I just allow Gaia to go down to the next Boom Burst, which is perfectly fine. I'm not opposed to it. Now this play right here is definitely a misplay. I did calc this, and of course, X-Cloud is more specially defensive than physically defensive, so I should have clicked Psyshock. Psyshock actually had a 85% chance to KO, while Scald had a much lower percent chance. But I clicked the Scald anyway, like an idiot, and the X-Cloud is actually going to solidly live with 10%, and Boom Burst is actually just going to wipe Shuriken off the face of the earth. So I literally wasted my Starmie there, which is the fastest mon on my team. I am actually going to just go into Shazam here. I am Scarf. I'm just going to go for the Full Switch and kill off the next cloud. I'm going to go into T-Tar as he's actually just going to go right into his Durant. I'm going to protect, see what this thing wants to go for. He's going to go for the Iron Head. I'm running Calcs at this point. I know I can live an Iron Head. Absolutely 100% live an Iron Head. And I flinch. Now, that matters a bit because I would have done over half to this thing with my set. Stone Edge would have done over half. So that's really unfortunate that he was able to pick up that crazy fucking flinch off me, but that's whatever. We're racking up life orb damage on this thing now. I decided that if it's going for Iron Heads, I want to switch into Shazam, but I know he can take it, and he's going to get his HP dropped. I'm going to actually go for the Volt Switch, which doesn't kill, which really pisses me off. And I go into T-Tar, and bam, T-Tar is going to go down to that Iron Head, but the Life Orb is going to take the Durant down with us. So I guess it's an upside. The Volt Switch was the min. We got the min roll on the Volt Switch, like the absolute min roll. So it was our best play. And then sacking off T-Tar was the best thing we could have done. I go for the Fire Blast in the Sun on the Raikou. It's going to set up. Just go ahead and Thunderbolt me. But at this point, Solar Power Heliolisk with the Scarf, we do outspeed, and we just come in against the Raikou, click Hyper Voice, and Solar Power boosted Hyper Voice is going to take out the Raikou, which is perfectly fine, and we are going to win 2-0 this week against the Alabama Alakazams. So another really good match. There's really nothing I could think that he could have done differently. I mean, that drill run prediction with the Escavalier was probably the turn that turned the game around. My misplay with Starmie, again, was something that could have been avoided, but, you know, everyone misplays from time to time. What can you do? Next week, we are going to have a hell of a time, because we are taking on Wes, Nasty, and the E-City Electrites. It's going to be easily our toughest match this season so far. He is insanely good, one of the best in the league. So this is definitely going to be one of our toughest matches to date. But I think I can definitely go toe-to-toe with him. I'm just really nervous because, you know, this is going to be. He's one of the best guys in the league, so I want to prove myself. I want to show that I can do well. But you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, until then, guys, we're currently sitting at 5-2, which is really awesome. We're doing really well this season, even though we did get 2 forfeits, which I mean, it sucks, but I can't really complain. Other than that, we've broke it. We're above even. We're 3-2 of matches we've actually played, so that's really good news for me. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, that'll be all for now, guys. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I am PokePrimer, signing off.